Okay, this tutorial will teach how to prepare an image to be used as a nested motion tween. A nested motion tween is a bit more complicated for processing because certain parts of the image have to move independently of each other. You have to cut up the image in Photoshop so that it can be imported as parts rather than as a whole. I have here an egret that I'm going to demonstrate this with. So I drag it into Photoshop like usual. And notice the background. It doesn't have to be a white background, it just has to be a solid background. I have my magic wand tool chosen already, and I have contiguous turned off. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, but I'm going to check. I'm going to hit here, and it seems to be doing the same job, mostly because there's no blue in the egret, so it doesn't matter whether it's on or off. Again, I'm going to have to go back to the background, double click on it, turn it to layer 0 so that I can delete, and I hit delete right now, and the egret is now isolated. The next thing I'm going to do is trim it so that the bounding box is tighter to the egret. So I'm going to go to Image, Trim, and Transparent Pixels, and now it's the size that I want. Now, before I do anything else, I want to check the size of this egret, because remember, our first project is 800 pixels by 600 pixels, and I want something roughly that size or smaller. I don't want it to outsize the stage because I'll be constantly spending time reducing the image. So I go to Image, Image Size, just to check it out, and lo and behold, it's enormous. It's 3 times the size of the stage. So I gotta calm that down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the width and maybe bring the width to about 600 pixels and a height of 568. It doesn't have to be the size of the stage, obviously. In fact, smaller than the stage would be perfectly fine. So I hit OK. Makes the egret considerably smaller. I'll zoom in here. All right. So in order to prepare the bird, what I want to do is I want to make the wings separate from the body. So there will be 3 distinct parts. The other thing I want to try to avoid is when I separate the wings, I don't want to separate them such that there's no overlap. If there's no overlap, what's going to happen is when this egret flaps his wings, you're going to see these kind of separations in the wing where it appears to be breaking off from the body, and that's certainly not what I want to do. So I'm going to make some separations using this tool called the lasso tool, but I'm going to make some separations that have some overlap. So there is this semblance of an object moving rather than breaking apart. All right, I'm going to make new layers, and I'm going to copy my selections and then paste them into the new layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here, and here's the new layer icon, and I hit it 3 times because I want to make 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. And of course, if you have more parts that you want to animate, that's how you would do that as well. You just need to put more layers. The layer order is important. The top layer is going to be seen as being in front of the layer beneath it, which is seen in front of the layer below. What I probably want to do so that I hide the egret's flapping wings is I might want to place the body in front of the wings and have a sufficient amount of overlap so that the wings motion gets covered and you don't have any breaking parts. So the body will go in front and then the wings will go behind. The layer order is important. I'm going to put the body on this top layer, which right now is called layer 3, and I'm going to put the wing closest to us on layer 2, and then the last wing on layer 1, which is the wing further away, or the left wing. So this is how I'm going to do this. I'm going to again take the lasso tool. I'm going to lasso around the wing, again going into the body somewhat to capture some of that. Again, I'm going to use the body to hide the motion. So here we go. I have this wing. I'm going to copy it just by going Command C is copy. Oh, notice what happened. It says there's nothing there to copy. The reason why there's nothing there to copy is I'm in layer 3. Right now layer 3 has nothing in it. I have to drift down to layer 0 and do the same thing. Command C. And then I'm going to go to layer 2. Remember, I want it under the body. And go Command V. You can see in this little icon that there's a wing there. I'm going to now do the same thing to the other wing, and I'm going to put it beneath that. So I have the lasso tool selected. Again, I'm going to go here. I'm going to kind of go into the body a little bit, having some overlap. There, I've selected that wing. It doesn't matter how closely to the wing I get in the transparent part because it's just going to select transparent pixels, and that's not a problem. Again, I want to be on layer 0 when I do that because I want to select what's going on here. So I'm going to go Command C again, and I'm going to go up to layer 1 and go Command V. Now I've got the two wings, and now I got to select the body. So again, with this lasso tool selected, I'm going to go around the body, and again I'm going to go out a little bit just to give myself a little room to spare. So the body's going to be a little bit bigger. That will give me some latitude for my flapping wings. And that's sufficient. If it's not sufficient, you can feel free to do the lasso tool again. And I'm going to put this body up here on top because I want the body to cover the wings a little bit. So I'm going to go back to the bottom, go Command C to copy that, and I'm going to paste it on the top, Command V. It's kind of moved a little bit, if you can tell, for some reason. But that's pretty easy to move back into place. I'm going to zoom in. And using the original as my guide, I'm going to use the Move tool, which is the first tool, and I'm going to move that egret body back where it belongs, which is roughly there. Now I'm going to turn off the other egret. So now, when I back up, I'm going to show you what happened. I turned off the original, so now my egret's in 3 parts. I'm going to turn off visibility. There's the body part, there's one wing, and there's another wing. And it's all in transparency. Again, you're going to want to save this as a Photoshop layer because you want to save the transparency, and it's only through Photoshop that you can do that. So you go File, Save As, and I'm going to go back to my documents, my name, assignment 1, and I'm going to do, just so that I know what this is, it says Snowy Egret, and I'm going to put Snowy Egret nested. So now when we import this into Flash, it's going to import all the layers and we'll be able to use it in a nested tween.